our June 2nd Cromwell Board of Education meeting. I'm Mrs. Gadudi, and I'm going to ask Lisa if you could please call the roll. Thank you. You all have an agenda in front of you. Hopefully everybody's taken a look. May I please ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Motion from Mrs. Cantwell, second from Mrs. Lamb. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, thank you. The agenda is approved. Dr. Macri, is there any correspondence?
No.
Okay. I'd like to open us up for public comment, and I know we have a couple, so. Jesus. Okay.
Have a seat. I'm ready.
Catherine and I are deciding, we're making the executive decision. I don't have to because you're the mayor and you've heard this before.
I promise to abide by
You're not
FOI.
going to name any children's names.
No, never.
And you're going to tell us where you
Unless
live.
it's me. Yeah, I'll say where I live, yeah.
Okay.
272 Skyview Drive. Good evening, everyone. I am pleased to be with you for a bittersweet celebration of Dr. Enza Macri. And it's not the only reason why I'm here tonight, but it's a big motivating factor. When I first got involved in town politics about 9 years ago, we had a different superintendent. And in my time in Cromwell schools, I'm a product of Cromwell schools, I'd gone through 4 different superintendents. And so it is really wonderful to have grown as a public volunteer alongside Dr. Macri. And I remember one of my first meetings with Dr. Macri, and I don't know if you remember it, but we had just started an LGBT town group. And I came to you and I said, what can we do to collaborate with the schools and work together? And you told such a touching story, which I won't share publicly, but the thing that stuck with me, you said, is if I could give every kid a hug and make sure that every student felt safe, loved, and valued every day, then I know I've done my job, and that's the philosophy I take with me to education. It has been such a joy and such a privilege to have served alongside you over the last 7 years that I've been involved while you've been here, and then over the last 2.5 years as I've served as mayor alongside you. And one of the first meetings I had after being elected as mayor was with you, and you dropped a packet of $50 million worth of school renovation projects on the table, and you said, well, you said you like collaboration. So here's the report, and by the way, it's final. So how are we going to work on it? And I am so pleased to say that over the last 2.5 years, that philosophy that you shared with me privately, that what can we do to make the student's experience the best it possibly can be, and how can we always put the student first, rang true. Because we, through crises, through challenges, through $50 million of building expenditures, trying to figure it out where they're going to go, through new middle schools, you have transformed this town, and you have touched the lives of every single student, past, present, and future. When I say indelible, you've left an indelible mark on this community. And I shared this with you the other night. The town is turning 175 years old in a couple weeks. You have been superintendent for 4% of the town's entire existence. And in that 4% of time, you've built a legacy that will last a century or more. So to every single student that has gone through the halls, to every single administrator and staff member that you've worked with, And from me, from my deepest, deepest caverns of my heart, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your dedication, your time, your energy. And I have a proclamation to present you to celebrate your years and your tenure, and from the entire town of Cromwell and on behalf of the mayor's office, to wish you the best and happiest retirement. You deserve it.
Thank you, Mayor Dimitriadis. I do remember our conversations, and we've had so many over the years, and we're more similar than people probably may think in our beliefs and our values, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. And it's always been a dream to try to collaborate with the town on projects, building projects, because we need so much. Our kids need so much, and nothing gets done because the first thing to get cut is buildings, and how do we fix them and make them better. And it means a lot, and people don't realize that. So I really truly don't believe any of the CNR miracle, because it is a miracle, would have happened if you weren't the mayor. And so I thank you for doing that, because you tell me about a legacy that I believe, and you're I always, I asked you if you're going to run for governor. You're like, no, I can't be that kind of a politician. But so the legacy that you leave is that you've put in a system and structure, and we're working together. And really, we all want the same thing. So thank you for that, and thank you for being someone that I can always call on. And I really appreciate how much you love our students too, because I really believe that you do. And so I appreciate everything that you have done, and I've enjoyed working with you as well. And I got a proclamation. I've seen so many people. I'm old. I've seen so many people get these over the years. I finally got one.
Thank you, Mayor Dimitriadis. That was really kind. Thank you. Does anybody else want to make a public comment tonight? Okay. I'm going to move us on to celebrating our faculty and staff, which is one of our favorite parts of our meetings, and we have so much to celebrate tonight. You want me to start here or here?
So I'm going to go up, and I'll
Okay.
usually go
So
up.
Dr. Macri is going to present the first, and Miss Bennington?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to start.
All right, you got it. Go for it.
Okay. So this gets a little confusing, so I just come here so I could be with my administrators and my students and make sure we get this all right. So we're going to start with, as you all know, we select teachers of the year. There's a committee that Mrs. Cantwell serves on behalf of the Board of Education. Amazing teachers, parents. And so this year, as always, I always say this is like the Super Bowl, right? So you got 4 teachers, it's the Super Bowl. How do you pick the winner? And it's difficult. It really is, because they're all amazing. And so this year, we have Heather Susi from ECS, who is the building teacher of the year. And we have Deb Roccapiori from CMS, we'll wait for WIS, who is the building teacher of the year. And Dr. Eileen Kirschbaum, CHS, building teacher of the year. And I will now call up, we'll start with Mrs. DeTuno, and she can speak on behalf of Mrs. Susi. Thanks, Mommy.
Thank you, Enza. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have the honor to introduce an outstanding educator at Edna Stevens School who brings warmth, curiosity, and joy to our youngest learners every day. As the kindergarten teacher in our school, Heather Susi creates a classroom where every child feels welcome, safe, and excited to learn. Mrs. Susi begins every morning with a bright smile and a calm, encouraging voice. She builds routines that help our 5 and 6-year-olds feel confident and ready to explore their letters, their numbers, and the world around them. Her lessons are hands-on, play-based, and carefully planned to meet each child where they are, supporting growth in their early reading, math, social skills, and most importantly, independence. What makes Mrs. Susie exceptional is both her expertise and her care. She takes the initiative to make a difference in students' lives by designing instruction that is meaningful and accessible to every student. She's also partners with families to support student success. Beyond the classroom, Mrs. Susie contributes to our school community through strong connections with her colleagues, working on curriculum planning, and participating in many school events. Her colleagues describe her as dependable, innovative, and deeply committed to students' well-being. We are grateful for her dedication, her compassion, and the positive difference she makes for our youngest students. Please join me in celebrating Mrs. Susie as the ECS Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to Mrs. Susie. Okay, next we have Mrs. Cochiola, who is going to speak on behalf of the wonderful Deb Roccapiori.
It is certainly our great pleasure to recognize our CMS Building Teacher of the Year. Deb Roccapiori exemplifies excellence in every aspect of her work. As a language arts teacher, she creates a classroom environment that's calm, welcoming, and focused on learning. She sets high expectations for all of her students while providing the support and encouragement they need to succeed. This woman is after school every single day. She usually will walk out with us at 5:30 at night, so her presence is there all the time. Beyond her classroom, she's a valued member of our school leadership team, a member of the district teacher leadership team, and a respected leader in curriculum writing. Her dedication to continuous improvement, collaboration, and student achievement has had a lasting impact on both our staff and students. Since joining our school in 2014, she has consistently demonstrated professionalism, compassion, and a commitment to excellence. And I keep saying excellence because that kept coming to mind as I talk about Mrs. Rock. She leads by example and inspires those around her every day. Our Mrs. Rock, because that's what we call her, our Mrs. Rock, is very much loved by her students and colleagues. So please join us in congratulating our CMS Building Teacher of the Year, whose contributions on a daily basis make our school a better place for students and staff alike. Thank you.
Okay, and on behalf of Dr. Eileen Kirschbaum, we have Mr. Andrew Kuckel.
Come on up. All right. Marcel, do you have Dr. K? All right, yeah. You're going to like this. You're going to like this. So Dr. Kirschbaum does teach physics, so I'm just going to lead with that. The speech will make sense. All right, what can I say about Dr. K? When Eileen first arrived many moons ago, that's right, she inherited a physics program with historically low enrollment and very little momentum. Fortunately, with an appropriate level of applied force, coupled with minimal student friction, Eileen has lifted our physics program to new heights. It gets better. Now, I could stand up here and talk about data. I could talk about how her AP Physics students last year averaged a 4.58 out of 5 on the AP test when the state average was a 3.42. Or that her AP Physics students 2 years ago averaged a 3.43 when the state average was a 2.83. Statistically speaking, her classroom is an absolute anomaly that defies standard expectations. Dr. K took a tiny physics program and grew it to include 35 students in AP for next year. Thank you again for the textbooks. Another 24 in honors and 15 more in our CCP level. This sudden influx of matter into her classroom is not because of her strong gravitational pull. No, it is because Dr. K is an exceptional teacher and her students know that she genuinely cares about them. And how do they know this? When she is not teaching her required courses, she can be seen encouraging and working with students in our academic support. She can be seen offering SAT prep lessons to students during advisory. And keep in mind, nobody asked her to do that. She created SAT prep lessons on her own. She is a constant source of kinetic energy who believes in the potential energy of each and every one of her students. This is my best one yet. One of my favorite Dr. Kirschbaum stories happened this year. We offer a free after-school SAT prep program for interested students, and we pay 1 or 2 teachers to help. We were struggling to find staff to fill the position, and Eileen came into my office to let me know that she was going to help with the program and that she did not need to be paid. This is true. I looked at her and said, Eileen, you can't do that. The laws of the teacher contract state that we have to pay you. But Eileen moved forward anyways because, as Newton's first law of motion states, an object in motion will stay in motion. And that sums up Dr. K. She doesn't do it for the recognition or the money. She does it because she places students first and wants what is best for them. She is a star. Congratulations, Dr. K.
Yes, when Dr. Kirschbaum, I think, was my first hire, and I was like, you're certified in biology, chemistry, physics, and what else? Was the I'm like, oh my God, you can't possibly have all of those. She's just like, well, I just retired as a dentist, and I really always wanted to be a teacher, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this woman's a genius. We literally just got so lucky. So thank you for growing the programs. Okay, so now I'm going to invite Mrs. Cantwell up here with me and Mrs. Bennington. And I'll be honest, I'm going to talk about our 2027 District WIS Teacher of the Year and District Teacher of the Year. And I will be honest in telling Emma and everyone here that Mrs. Bennington did write this for me. But I'm going to read it. Congratulations to Emma Baker on being named both Woodside Intermediate School Teacher of the Year and Cromwell Public School District Teacher of the Year. Emma is an extraordinary third grade teacher whose creativity, passion, and unwavering dedication make her truly deserving of these honors. From the moment you walk into her classroom, it is clear that she has created something special. A calm, joyful, and welcome environment built on intentional connections with every student. Every single student the entire time we were in there. It was amazing. Her students absolutely adore her, and anyone fortunate enough to observe her teaching quickly understands why. You could sit in her classroom all day and never stop learning from the warmth, the energy, and the care she brings to every lesson. Emma greets everyone with kindness and positivity, and she finds genuine joy in the happiness and success of others. She values community above all else, creating a classroom where every child feels seen, celebrated, and important. Each day, she recognizes a student of the day and sends a special notice home, helping students feel proud and connected. Her communication with families is equally thoughtful, as parents look forward to her weekly Parent Square updates that keep them involved in the life of the classroom. Her creativity is unmatched. If a classroom routine can become a catchy jingle, Emma has already created one, likely inspired by the many years she spent working with children through the YMCA, before and after school programs, and summer camps beginning at just 16 years old. Fueled by iced coffee and Diet Coke, my kind of girl. No one wants me on caffeine. I drink decaf. Emma arrives early each morning, ready to give her students her absolute best every single day. She has attended every WIS science fair since joining the district and is so invested in her students that she often misses the start of recess duty because she treasures the extra moments spent talking with them outside the classroom. Emma's dedication extends far beyond the school day. Every year, she makes a point to attend at least one out-of-school event for each of her students, whether it is a recital, sports game, concert, or performance, showing them that she supports and celebrates who they are, both inside and outside of school. She is equally supportive of her colleagues, always eager to share ideas, resources, encouragement with her teammates, special education teachers, and para-educators alike. Beyond the classroom, Emma's compassion and character shine through in all aspects of her life. She shares a beautiful bond with her sister, which I know what that feels like, and we know that we know what it feels like, who also works at Woodside, and mine happens to too. And the two regularly travel together and support one another wholeheartedly, and that is just so beautiful. She also continues a lifelong tradition of visiting her grandmother every Sunday for family dinner, a reflection of the deep value she places on relationships and community. Emma also spent years studying and performing ballet, and in many ways, she approaches teaching like a performer on stage, bringing energy, precision, creativity, and the heart to every moment. She once shared that her classroom feels like an orchestra, and she is the conductor, and that perfectly captures the magic she creates each day. Woodside and Cromwell are incredibly fortunate to have such a talented, compassionate, and inspiring educator leading and uplifting the students around her. Congratulations, Emma Baker. Rebecca, do you want to come with her? Because I know you're a package deal. Like, I get it.
Thank you. That was great.
Yes, Emma, don't go. You need to.
Mrs. Cantwell has something for you.
Cantwell.
Mrs. Cantwell represented the board as on the Teacher of the Year committee, which she has done for many, many years. And Lori tells us every year it's harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, so this is probably one of my favorite parts of being on the board, and so I'm honored. I was so honored to do it again this year. And it's true, I sound like a broken record, but it is so hard. It gets harder every year. So congratulations. We're so proud of you. And you got this beautiful plaque.
Gosh, this is amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Wow. Thank you very much.
Oh, will you stop? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. And now I would like to invite Mr. Botwell and Mrs. Demetriadis. So if you know Mrs. Demetriadis, then we all know Mrs. Demetriadis. When she gets on you for something, she gets on you for something. And I'm like, oh, no, what did I do wrong now? But as much as she lets us know if we do something wrong, she always lets us know when we're doing something right all the time. And so these two people, she said to me, are we ever going to celebrate? And I said, yes, we will absolutely get to them, but we had to put them on the last agenda. Michelle DeMoro and Lori Rosano, as you all know, we went through a transition with insurance. And these two people worked their tail off to work miracles. So Mr. Botwell is going to come up, and so is Mrs. Demetriadis, to say a few words about Michelle and Lori. And both of them hate being recognized, so they need to get up here too. Lori's probably hiding. There she is. I told you she's hiding in the back of the room. Get up here. Come on. Get up here. Behind the pole. Look at her face. Literally hiding. I know.
A little closer. Got to get in the camera.
No, I really don't.
There we go. Okay. What are the renewal percentages? Is this a PPO? Is there an HSA with this plan? What is the health enhancement program? How will the performance of the partnership impact our renewal rate? Are there rates associated with an FSA? These are just some of the questions that our amazing colleagues, Michelle DeMoro and Lori Rosano, had to navigate as they helped lead the district through a transition in medical insurance carriers. Tonight, we would like to take a few minutes to recognize the patience, diligence, and commitment they demonstrated throughout this process. Having spent the last 2 years in the central office, I can tell you that Michelle and Lori are truly among the unsung heroes of the district who keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. During this budget cycle, they had a tremendous responsibility placed on them when it was determined that the district would go out to bid for our insurance needs and ultimately transition to a completely different type of coverage plan. Here are just a few things they did to help make this transition smooth and keep our CPS colleagues informed and comfortable throughout the process. Worked closely with our brokers to review renewal rates and evaluate medical insurance options for the district. Organized and scheduled informational meetings with union reps so employees could better understand the proposed changes and make informed decisions. Managed the many details related to coverage, expenses, enrollment changes, and the implementation of the new plan. And coordinated follow-up sessions with our new provider to answer questions and provide employees with a clear overview of the new insurance program. Overall, Michelle and Lori invested an incredible amount of time, energy, and care into making this transition as seamless as possible for our staff. I know I'm speaking on behalf of Dr. Macri and everyone throughout the district when I say, thank you, Michelle and Lori, for all of your hard work and dedication. I would like to close with a short poem inspired by the insurance transition of 2026. There were PPOs and HSAs and questions coming all through the day, rates and renewals and forms galore, with one more email, then maybe 4 more. But through the process, calm and steady, Michelle and Lori stayed always ready. So tonight we simply want to say, thank you both for guiding the way.
Alyssa, you don't have to read to me now.
I trust you've heard me before, Mrs. Demetriadis.
These ladies definitely deserve to be recognized for all their hard work and dedication. Lori is always clarifying our health insurance questions or benefits or letting me know if a new paraprofessional was hired or quit or fired. I've asked her hundreds of questions throughout the years, and she's always willing to answer my questions with kindness and patience. On to Michelle. I just want the board to realize that we never had an HR director prior to this administration. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you what a huge difference it makes to actually have a person who knows the ins and outs of employee rights and can answer my questions without hesitation. Professionalism, empathy, and steady guidance have been truly invaluable. Michelle's famous response to me is, I don't want to harm the employee in any way. No matter how difficult the situation is, she finds a resolution that is always fair. They both need to be recognized for their leadership in helping our district transition to the partnership plan. They spent hours and days and weeks scheduling meetings, answering questions, calculating premiums, and the entire time doing it with professionalism and patience. Thank you for everything you both do for our workplace, to make our workplace a supportive, secure, and thriving environment for all of us. I am incredibly grateful for both of you, and you two are truly the unbeatable team that makes our district run like a well-oiled machine. Thank you.
I think we can second or third that as you helped us navigate this really challenging year with our insurance. We never expected to go through that, and we couldn't have made the decisions we made or navigated some of the challenges we navigated without your incredible thoughtfulness, guidance, and really advocacy for the staff in our district. Thank you so much.
In a real short time. Quick time, turnaround. Okay, and lastly, Mrs. Gadudi, we are going to recognize Marcel Dudzik, who has been with us for 2 years. I loved being with you. I loved our talks. I appreciated everything that you brought to this, and I'm sure Mrs. Gadudi has a lot to say as well on behalf of the board. Marcel is going to UConn and he's going to study pharmacology, so you're going to be on my quick call list because, I may not need as much medication anymore because I'm retired. I'm just kidding. But I wish you the very, very best. Come on, Mrs. Gaduti, you gotta laugh.
I'm not.
You shouldn't even
have no words.
be surprised. Go ahead.
I have words for you, Marcel, but I have no words.
No, usually people don't.
I'll start, but I think I'll open up to the rest of the board members to I want to tell you how much we appreciate you. This is probably not the way that you want to spend your Tuesday evenings, but you sit with such interest and such politeness and really such thoughtfulness and enhance our discussions. You tell us all the great things that are happening in the high school, which has been enlightening. You answer our questions with thoughtfulness and enthusiasm, and have just been a joy to be around. You are wise beyond your years and represent yourself and present yourself with so much maturity and professionalism. I'm very excited to see where you'll go in the future, and we're so grateful that you stepped up and represented your school with all of us. So congratulations and thank you. I'm gonna open up to the rest of the board in case anybody else wants to have any comment. Yes, Mrs. Russ wants to say something.
So, Marcel, we put you on the spot quite a few times, and I hope that your classmates know that your invaluable insight to what was actually happening in the high school and around town and with your fellow students was so impactful on all that we were talking about and all our discussions, because we did refer to you quite a bit. And to your credit, you and Jacob stayed for a good portion of our meetings. You did not just read and go. I know you have a lot of tests. You guys both take extremely difficult classes. And so I'm really excited for you for next year. I'm going to miss getting donuts on a random Tuesday night, because that was always a huge bonus, or muffins from Dunkin'. So Jacob, you might want to get a job at Dunkin', just saying. Oh, does he? Okay, they have candy there we like. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, and I hope that, because Mrs. Gaduti and I told you we both have kids that are at UConn, so I hope I see you walking around at UConn, and I know you're going to do amazing things there. We're really excited, and you're a fantastic person, and I'm so proud, and I can't wait to see what you do next. So congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Marcel.
I don't.
You don't want to say anything?
I now understand everyone being put on the spot, but thank you. I enjoyed all the meetings. I really did enjoy. I like numbers. I like listening to all. It feels like an inside gossip to the school. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Still have one more report to give, so you're not off the hook yet.
Can I ask one?
Yes.
Did your fellow students ever ask you questions about things?
I asked a lot of questions. I just wanted to make sure that I had everything, so they definitely know that I'm the representative. Yeah, and it's also elected, so.
We think it's super cool that they elected you.
Well, thank you, and we're so excited. So you have to keep in touch, and if you're in town on a random Tuesday, pop in and see us at our meeting.
I'll meet you here.
Yes.
Yes, we would never turn down donuts. We would love that.
Public comment.
Okay, I'm going to move us on so that I can save Marcel from being put on the spot. Any further and embarrassing you, although we're parents and that's what we do, so sorry. You better warn Madison. That's what we do. Reports of the liaisons for Town Council, Board of Finance, CMS Building Committee, and Public Assets and Facilities Committee. I'm going to let Mayor Dimitriadis go first for Town Council, and then Mr. Zabrowski, anything you want to add. But
Alrighty, and I'll come back when we get to town collaboration to talk about other things. But we have a town council meeting next week. Something I would like everyone on the board to be aware of and plugged into is we need to be making a decision on the WIS fields and deciding which direction to go. As you may recall, we invested some money in hiring an engineer to do a soil sample and soil testing of the WIS fields. And they provided us with a presentation earlier in the year of 3 different options of how to improve the drainage there. They are the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million option. So, affordable, great. Option 1, which is $1 million, would be, let me back up. It's a bowl, essentially. The water drains down to the lowest point. It's a bowl. When they built WIS, the soil was contaminated, so they took the soil out. Instead of putting in new fill, they put in new clay. Clay does not drain, so there's about 8 feet of clay that is compacted there, and then underneath is the aquifer. So what happens when you have a really heavy rainstorm? Water goes to the lowest point, it bowls, and floods, and then it also backs up and floods all of the neighborhoods around it. So the options we're exploring, we have money left over from the initial engineering to engineer and design, which is not meaning we're going to spend the money on the full project. What it means is which design do we want to go with? Option 1 will be a what I call the catacombs approach. They're going to dig down, build some catacombs that are going to hold the water, kind of like holding tanks, open bottoms, drain out into the aquifer. Option 2 would be that plus some new topsoil on top to try to give it a little cushion. Option 3 is a total dig up of the entire field. Option 3 would be $3 million. Option 2 would be $2 million. Option 1 would be $1 million. What's interesting about it is each option presents their own set of challenges. Option 1 would be able to be done quickly and not impact play. Option 2 would have some minimal impacts to play, and Option 3 would take the fields out of commission for probably 1 to 2 seasons. So these are all things that we need to consider as we are moving forward. And one of the important things is the money has been allocated in the last year's budget to get this project shovel ready. Once a project is shovel ready, it's eligible for grants, it's eligible for state funding, it's eligible for more support. My goal is to get the project to a shovel ready position. So in the future, should we ever find ourselves in a rainy day with money coming out of money trees, we could invest in making that happen. So we will be having a special meeting, a joint town council board of finance meeting to go over the financing related to those 3 options, because even though the project isn't going to have a today cost, I want to have an understanding of the long-term financial implications of such a large project. So there will be a special meeting on that. At next week's meeting, we will be celebrating the 175th anniversary of the town of Cromwell with a reenactment of the first town meeting, in which 175 years ago, we separated from the town of Middletown. So we're looking forward to celebrating that. And then otherwise, we will be chugging along on a number of other projects that seem never ending. But happy to answer any questions on any of that. And then I'll come back up on the town collaboration portion to talk about the town budget process. I do want to just also say our budget referendum did pass this year. Our budget referendum this year had lower than expected turnout, so I encourage everyone to tell their friends and families that, come out and vote and support the budget. I did get a lot of feedback about the mill rate impact, and we'll talk more about that under town collaboration. But I do want to say we've made $2 million worth of investments in this year's budget in our town's infrastructure, including almost $1 million in our school's infrastructure. And that is so important because when you invest, it pays dividends down the road. We just built a beautiful new middle school that's going to last the next century. But the reason we had to build a new middle school was because for the last 50 years, we didn't take care of what we had. And that is not our philosophy moving forward. And I am so proud of the town council, the Board of Ed, and the Board of Finance for seeing the fact that investments need to be made. And I'm thankful to the over 200 voters that came out and supported the budget, for supporting a budget that was forward-looking and made those investments in our students and in our future. So I'll talk more under town collaboration about other things, but any questions about upcoming town council issues? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dimitriadis. Mr. Zabowski, anything you want to add?
Yeah, what he said.
Okay, I'll take it. Mrs. Ross, any updates from Board of Finance?
No, they did not have a meeting, so
Okay.
no updates.
Mrs. Lamb, anything from the CMS Building Committee?
Nothing new. We haven't met since the last time this group got together.
Okay. Mr. Heisman, anything from the Public Assets?
I have
and-
the same update as them.
Okay.
We have a meeting on Thursday.
This is moving along
so-
quick. I like it. This happens. Thank you. All right. Moving along to our report of student representatives. Can we start with the middle school? Jillian, are you ready? I see you writing. You need a minute? Okay. Jillian and Summer, take it away.
All right. The CMS Art Show on May 21st was a huge success. Thank you to those who came out to support our talented artists. Hartford Athletics hosted the 5th annual STEAM on Soccer Education Day on May 26, 2026. Students and educators from schools throughout Connecticut, including Cromwell Middle School, showcased their amazing projects throughout the concourse of Trinity Health Stadium. Despite a scheduling conflict, students were able to enjoy a professional soccer practice. Butterfly Night, an exhibit celebrating the hard work of our talented 6th graders, was held on May 28th to culminate their study of the Holocaust. Student projects brought awareness to an understanding of the atrociousness that children of Tenzin faced during the Holocaust. Choral, instrumental, and dramatic dialogues moved the members of the audience. The 6th grade students and the 6th grade staff presented a moving exhibit that showcased all their reading, writing, research, and hands-on project created by the students that the students showcased. And just something for you, Dr. Macri, congratulations on your retirement. I know you did a lot for our town, and we all appreciate it.
Oh, so sweet.
Thank you. You guys were always the best part of it all.
Okay, yeah, this is on. Forgot how to turn the microphone on. Great. Starting with chorus, the spring concert for CMS Chorus and Select Choir was held on May 20th. The performance was enjoyed by all, and congratulations to our singers. Secondly, the yearbook is ready to start distribution next week. Copies may be purchased for $28 in cash while supplies last. The 8th grade will take their annual trip on Wednesday, June 3rd to High Meadow and Granby. I'm really excited. The UV is going to be 9, though, and I didn't check the UV for the STEM field trip, and I'm still sunburnt, so I need to be really careful today, or tomorrow. Never again. The annual 8th grade dance will be held at CMS on Friday, June 5th. And the 6th and 7th grades will host the end-of-year picnics at Watchers Park, and once again, make sure to bring your sunscreen. Please. CMS is excited to welcome back our senior class for their senior walk on Friday, June 5th, where teachers will get a chance to wish their past students good luck in their futures. The 8th grade promotion is set for June 16th, and the last day of school is set for the following day, although I'm pretty sure this is where we decide where the last day of school is, like when it is, so you probably already know that. For track and field, on Saturday, May 23rd, the CMS track team competed in the state track meet held in Manchester. Congratulations to Jesse Tanga for the 400 meter, and he's the 7th place in the state. Sadie Delorio for the 100 meter sprint, who is number 6 in the state. And then Jonathan Caballero, who is also number 6 in the state. And he's on the 4x800 meter relay team, along with Andrew Matrullo, David Tedeschi, Keegan Badler, and yeah, that's it. And finally, adding on to what Summer said, I also wanted to just give a thank you, and I'm finally listening to Miss Lamb and Mr. Heisman and just winging this. So, 8th grade is over, and as bittersweet as it is leaving middle school, this also means leaving the Board of Ed meetings behind. And to say that this was probably the highlight of my year is an understatement. Every time Miss Hicks, I would get an email from her, and she'd be like, "Oh, don't worry, you guys don't have to come today." I'd be like, what am I supposed to do? Can I show up anyways with that, like? Yeah, so this was a lot of fun, and I'm being completely honest in that I really enjoyed these meetings and just the positive environment that I grew to know all the people here. Me and Summer were pretty scared, but everyone here is just so affirming. There's just such a positive environment, and our school is incredibly lucky to have such supportive staff members. And finally, congratulations to Dr. Macri and Ms. Cochiola on their retirements. Our districts will miss you. Dr. Macri, I'm sorry the first time I talked to you was at your retirement party. You seem really cool.
Oh, honey, we could talk all you want now.
So yeah, just a final thank you, and I hope to be back for junior year. Is that when you're allowed to go again? Yeah. I hope to be back, hopefully with Summer, too, for junior year. So thank you.
Oh, that was so cute. So Jillian and Summer, we want to thank you and congratulate you on moving into the high school. And we're just so excited to see your future adventures and your paths, which we know are going to be incredibly bright. I will tell you, Madison Stryker was sitting in your seat a few years ago, and she's coming back to join Jacob as the high school representative. So we absolutely expect that you're going to be at our table again, and are just so incredibly proud of you and so appreciative that you also spend your evenings with us. I think it's so funny that you said this was your favorite thing to do and that you really enjoyed it, but I appreciate it. And we all volunteer to be here too, so clearly we enjoy it. It is such an important thing to be providing service to your community, and you're setting that example now. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for helping to educate us on all the exciting things that are happening in your school. It's really important for us to know it, and we wouldn't know it without you being here. So congratulations. We will have something special for you guys at graduation next week. Jacob, last one standing.
All right, I can't top that, but of course, congratulations on your retirement. I hope to see you guys in student council and in my role in a few years. And to Marcel, I think I met you in pre-calc last year. Then Mr. Randazzo put us next to each other. And since then, you've been a pretty good role model to me, so thank you for that.
I got him to do this, so.
Yeah. All right. With the conclusion of our spring season, there were many exciting updates in Cromwell athletics. Mr. Huckle walked by and gave me more breaking news just a few minutes ago, so we got more to add. For the fourth time in school history, and the first time since 1970, the boys' outdoor track and field team won the Class M state championship. Congratulations to the coaches and team on an amazing season. Specifically, Coach Joe Asmus won Coach of the Year for track. This came on the heels of the Shoreline Conference Championship last Tuesday, where both the boys and girls track team achieved many top-place finishes. Going into the playoffs, the baseball team had an impressive 16-4 record. The team beat Morgan 9-5 on Friday at Palmer Field. With their 3-0 win against Housatonic Regional yesterday, they kept advancing, playing Immaculate High School today at home, winning 6-0. They played Saturday against whoever they'll face next. And congratulations to Coach Budzik for winning Coach of the Year for baseball. The softball team's 13-7 record easily allowed them to continue their season with more double-digit scoring games, winning 14-10 over Windsor Locks and East Granby yesterday. They play tomorrow at Montville. The golf team has their final match against Haddam Killingworth, playing at Lyman Orchards today. The boys and girls lacrosse teams finished up their seasons last week, posting one of the best records in the past few years, and Coach Morello got the award for the best coach for that too. After getting rained out on their senior night, the girls secured a win against HK 13-7 last Tuesday. Even with the school year ending, Cromwell is looking to further earn the title of the home of the champions. That's it for my last sports report, and next year's Junior Board of Education representative, Madison, joined us earlier, and she'll be here next year. And right now she's at the Prisms concert, so I'll probably take a look at that afterwards. Yes.
Not a whole lot of updates for the end of the year, only the exciting stuff. It's finals week for seniors, which means we're getting ready for graduation on June 11th. As for the unlucky juniors and underclassmen, they get to enjoy a few more days of school until June 17th. After graduation, seniors are invited to Quasi Amusement Park for Project Grad's field trip. Yearbooks are still for sale, and this Wednesday is the senior yearbook signing ice cream party. This Friday, seniors will participate in their annual senior walk through the 4 buildings of their childhood. I'm excited to see my past teachers. On May 23rd, the National Honor Society hosted a color run. All proceeds went to Connecticut Children's Medical Center. And now, for real this time, I want to sincerely thank everyone for the opportunity to be part of the board. I hope I left all meetings. I hope each one of you left every meetings know a little more about school news, updates, events, and a few good jokes along the way. The end is right around the corner, and I'm excited to see everyone again during graduation.
Thank you. Thank you both. I think Jacob's glad to pass off the sports report to Madison.
Yeah, she's a great athlete. She'll have many stories to tell next year.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to move on to town collaboration updates, and Mayor Dimitriadis isn't going to get to sit down tonight, so.
No, I love it.
Thank you. And while you're getting,
I'm paying penance for not coming to a board meeting for like 5 months or 6 months. So
while you're getting settled,
this is penance.
I'll just add just a huge thank you to the town council and to the Board of Finance and to the community for supporting the budget that we put forward. We really worked very, very hard on it, and we're so appreciative that we had so much support throughout the process.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Ditto. Before the student representatives leave, I just want to say something really quickly to y'all. Civic service is so important, and getting involved is so important. I just said 200 people came out to vote, or something like that. 268 people came out to vote for the town budget. You guys sat through and listened to all the debate and discussion and time and hours that went into every single decision that was made. And you heard the debates, you heard the numbers. And it's so important to be involved. So as you carry yourselves off into being citizens of the world and citizens of the country and citizens of our town, keep doing what you're doing here, because your voice matters and your time matters. And it's so important that you use your voice to advocate for what you believe in. So thank you for volunteering and being elected to serve in these roles, because it's really, really important, the work you do. Alrighty, so town collaboration. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight. The first one was middle school building committee. You said middle school building committee, and it said, oh, I was supposed to talk about that. I've been talking with Little League and with Rosanna from the middle school building committee about the Little League fields that are at the middle school. There's a number of different projects that they were seeking for improvements, both safety-wise and also for play improvements. And we are going to be reviewing some of those at the upcoming town council meeting, because some of them are not CIAC required, but they are, the next kind of generation of things that may be needed. And they have a pretty significant price tag, I think $200,000 plus. Yeah, so because it's a $200,000 expenditure, we wanted to just take a pause and kind of chew on it a little bit more. I'm going to be inviting Little League to be part of that conversation, and obviously the building committee members are always welcome at our meetings to have that discussion and discourse, because I think we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to. We're keeping student safety at the center of what we do, but we're also making sure that we're doing what we need to do. So we will be having those discussions. So the reason I'm here to talk specifically today is to address some concerns that have been raised at prior board meetings regarding the education cost sharing, and to address some other issues related to the budget process. So as you know, the budget process is long, arduous, exhausting, and deliberative. And the way that it works here in town, Board of Ed creates their budget, Town Council creates their budget. Town Council, thanks to Dr. Macary's leadership, takes the CNR requests from the board and puts them as part of the town CNR budget. We present those to the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance has the ability to add, detract, and in this case, they added some items back into the CNR budget, and then it gets certified by charter and goes to referendum. And so this year, the Board of Finance certification was April 2nd, to give the appropriate amount of time for the certification to happen and for the notice to go out into the papers, and the budget needs to be inspected for a certain number of days by charter, and then it got passed. Now this year there was a lot of discussion about education cost sharing and fixing the formula, and this year they did a Band-Aid, and hopefully next year they actually fix the formula, because it hasn't changed significantly since 2013, which I know all of you at this table are aware of. And so as part of that process, the last night of the last day of session, the Senate and the House passed a bill. Actually, it was an amendment of an earlier bill that reset the formula for the purposes of a one-year additional expenditure. And the governor invited me to a press conference where I announced that with him. And one of the things that he said was that the money would be allocated to the municipalities so that the municipalities can direct that spending in a way that will help them alleviate costs and expenses that they are experiencing, including the ability to lower and reduce the mill rate. And so that money came the day after, or that money was announced the day after our budget referendum. It was finalized the day after our budget referendum. The press conference I had with the governor was the Thursday before our budget referendum. The number was not finalized until that Wednesday, the day after our budget referendum. After consultation with CCM, I spoke with the president of CCM and spoke with the legislators that represent the town about how we need to proceed. The governor's office and others confirmed to me that the process would be that the town's legislative body in charge of finance would be able to make the decision about how to utilize those funds. At a public meeting that was held on that Thursday, the Board of Finance held public comments and public discussion. I was the only member of the public to attend, and we discussed what to do with that funding, and the decision was to utilize it as the governor had recommended as a one-time mill rate about a half a mill rate percentage cut on the overall mill rate. So the mill rate would have been about a 0.5% higher. The Board of Finance decided to use that money to mitigate the mill rate. This year we had a number of expenditures that were unique. Health insurance. Right, health insurance was a major expense this year, and as somebody who represents educators across the state, this is a struggle that we're having at every single school district across the entire state. Health insurance is an insanely expensive and ever-increasing cost. Additional to that, there was a settlement of $750,000 for the Covenant Living tax assessment lawsuit that had been going on for multiple years. As part of that settlement, which is public and can be Googled on the state judicial website, the town agreed to a new new tax credit for Covenant Living because they claimed they were being overtaxed of $750,000. Because of that, the health insurance and other factors, including inflation, the cost of fuel, and the fact that the grand list did not grow because we had to take $750,000 off of the grand list, we were seeing the difference between expenditures and costs were about $2 million, $3 million rather. But then when you took into account all of the other things that were happening, it was actually a $6 million deficit that we were facing. The Board of Finance does an excellent job, and John Ireland and I are going to come back in August with more information after summer break, kind of outlining all of this and talking about the process of looking at our fund balance. We have a fund balance policy here in town that we try to keep our fund balance at 60 days operating expenses for the town, which is between 15 and 17%. So we actually lowered our fund balance to the 15%. Traditionally, we kept it at 16%. We lowered the fund balance to the 15% in order to try to preserve and lower the impact of the mill rate. With the additional funding from the state as well, we were able to add that to that pot to smooth out any mill rate impacts on the residents. And so the reason I go through all of that is because I know you guys have had a number of really detailed discussions about the education cost sharing. I know there's a lot of myths that are out there and misconceptions, but I can assure you that the bodies, the Board of Finance, the town, we've reviewed this and worked really hard on this. We are having ongoing discussions with Dr. Macri and with Alicia and the rest of the board leadership team and Mr. Butwell about how we handle this moving forward if this were to happen again. You know, what are the procedures that we have in place? What is the practice that we have in place? And how can we make sure that people are plugged in to that process? So something I would encourage. We have a bunch of deliberative bodies that I think do a really great job deliberating, but sometimes we don't always deliberate together in the best ways possible, and I think we're working on that. We're improving it. Steve, you're on the facilities committee townwide to help us come up with big picture. Matt, you've been coming to our board of town council meetings, which is really helpful. And I think we need to just keep the dialogue open and keep the line of communication together, because collaboration is built on one thing, and that's trust. And as long as we continue to trust each other and know that we all have the same goals in mind, even if we disagree about which path in Candyland you take, you end up at the end of Candyland to the gumdrop castle at the end anyway. So sometimes you go through the sticky forest, sometimes you don't. But at the end of the day, we all get there together. So I want to assure folks that had questions about that process that we did our diligence in going through it. We tried to make sure that as information was rapidly changing, that we were adjusting to that rapidly changing information. Traditionally, we have the Board of Finance vote Tuesday night right after the close of referendum. The budget had not been passed yet, so we did not do it Tuesday night. We postponed it till Thursday. And by charter, we had to set the mill rate by that Saturday. So we only had a set amount of time to do it anyways. But I hope that demystifies the process a little bit and kind of clarifies what was happening on our end, on the town side and the Board of Finance side. And I'm not here to speak for Mr. Island, but Mr. Island's board includes people who work for the legislature, who are very knowledgeable about the legislative process, and they reviewed the documents as well as part of the process. And again, I encourage folks to sometimes cross across the line and come on over and see the Board of Finance sometime, because they always demystify me because I always say, I want to know what the mill rate is going to be right as soon as the budget is passed. Like, I want to know what the mill rate is before the budget's passed. And they're like, well, it's not that easy. You can't do that because there are all these moving parts. But again, I'm really proud of the fact that we are able to have such an open line of communication. I want to encourage us to keep doing better on that. You all know me. You all have my cell phone. You can call me anytime you want. Matt, you can call me while I'm walking the dog any morning. Or I mean, a lot of morning
James,
calls.
don't encourage that.
No, he can call me while I'm walking the dog. I have no problem with that. Miss Dolly, the first dog at Cromwell, and me. Anytime you want. Any questions for me on any of that? Catherine?
Mrs. Russ.
Yes.
Just a couple of comments. So I do represent the Board of Ed at Board of Finance meetings. Unfortunately, the April one I could not attend. But I believe they put it in as a special meeting because they weren't going to do one. So, but I do normally go there and I understand their full process and I sit there and I give them our updates on what's happening. It is interesting to watch what they go through every month because it's not as straightforward as people think it is.
No, it's not.
And creating a budget in the government is very different than creating a budget for a business. Extremely different. So I do appreciate that. And for a lot of people, it's like monkeys clapping in their ears when they go to these meetings. They don't fully understand them. I did study government accounting, so I get it a lot more. But at any rate, also to let you know that when we first received information related to that, the way the state presented it made it sound like the Board of Ed was receiving the money. It was a very unclear communication from the state, which is absolutely not. It's very, very common. We see that all the time. We see it here. We've seen it in other areas. I mean, COVID really exposed all of that. So that piece of it was just confusing to a lot of people in the district, not just Board of Ed members. I think had a little clearer understanding of how it was working, but I think district-wide it was a little bit more confusing because they saw that we were getting money. The news talked about everything. They looked up and said, oh, look at the Board of Education's getting this. Well, it's not exactly how it works, but it was very unclear the way they presented it to us. And so I can see where people were getting upset, but we've always worked, I shouldn't say always, the last 5 years, the work between the Board of Finance and Town Council has been much more collaborative than it was when I first initially came on. It was very, very different. So it's nice to see it working out this way, and it's nice to have different board members sitting across other boards as representatives. So they don't always come to our meetings, but, well, Jessica obviously goes to both, but they don't always come to our meetings, and we wish that they would, or at least just read up on what we talk about, watch it a little bit, and we try to provide very meaty minutes, much more.
You do provide very meaty minutes.
They're a lot meatier than other districts, so.
They're very healthy, Lisa.
Yeah, so I hope that other boards, you encourage your board to check out what we're doing and what we're talking about, because government's one piece of the budget. Education is a totally different animal, and a lot of times they don't understand how things work. So how grant money works, how we worked hard to bridge that gap, but we still have our struggles. So thank you.
Thank you. And I will say that Alicia and I have talked about needing to have the liaison be more permanent. We had a liaison. She resigned from the council, and we're trying to talk through internally about who wants to fill that position. My therapist says I'm not allowed to go to any more meetings on week evenings, so I'm trying to listen to my therapist, but with mixed results. She goes, "You're going to meetings how many nights a week?" And I go, "Well, and she goes, "You have a husband?" And she's like, "I'm like, yes, I do." You got to be home sometimes. So we will make sure that we have somebody starting to come to more of your meetings.
Even if they just watch, and so they know what's going on.
Yes, I agree 100%.
It's always on YouTube. They can always go back and rewatch it, or at a very minimum minutes. I know people, I'm sure every board member has had people in the community question them. I'm like, did you look at the meeting minutes? Did you watch the board meeting? Did you any piece of it? Because it would explain. I'll tell you, but you should probably be a little more involved. There's a lot that we do.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure that we're better about that on our end. Thank you.
Huge thank you to you, Mayor Demetrius. This is probably the 4th hour we've been together doing this work.
I love it.
But thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing the updates and for that explanation, because I think that was really, really important, as it was very unclear. I think sometimes government is lots of shades of gray, and then the media confounds the message of where those dollars are actually able to be expended. So thank you so much.
Well,
for
when
doing
it's
that.
an election year, lawyers are
Yes.
involved. and the bill gets changed 3 times in 72 hours, you're gonna get a little bit of a circus. So,
Thank you for that.
Appreciate
Much
you.
appreciated.
Have a great rest of the night.
Appreciate
I'm driving to DC in the morning for a AFT lawyers conference, so I will be leaving at 4 a.m. So I am going to depart.
Do you want Matt to call you while you drive?
Matt, yeah. Listen, from 4 a.m. until whenever, I'll be in the car. Everyone call me. Everyone gets an hour. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of the night.
Thank you. All right. No one can top that. I have no more town collaboration updates. Hopefully no one else does. Dr. Macri, superintendent updates.
Okay, so Director of Finance interviews June 8 and 10, and I believe we have our 3 members of the board that are going to be joining us. Hopefully, 2? Okay. Hopefully we will have someone who will be able to do the job. This is a very difficult job to fill, and we hope that we can find someone in this round. Otherwise, we will have to continue to do other rounds like we have in the past. And in the past, it has taken us over a year to find someone, and you all know what happened with Mr. Butwell, so that could possibly happen again. Final CMS principal interviews in front of the board are June 9th, and you have 3 amazing candidates coming before you, and I'm excited for you to meet them. And just lastly, I'd like to thank you for the beautiful reception. It was wonderful, and it was really nice to talk to everybody and to see everyone. Of course, I'm going to go around to all the schools and say goodbye. I just haven't had the in me yet to do it, but I will get there. It's not going to be easy. Oh, I will be there waiting for them to come. But that's not a bad idea. I know, right? But thank you all. I know Lori Campbell and I are the only ones standing from the board that hired me. I am forever grateful for this opportunity. I am forever grateful that I got to have the chance to make a larger impact on students in a different way, and never a way that I ever thought that I would ever be, because to me it was always teacher, principal. I wasn't doing anything more because I loved being with them. And sadly, this job takes you away from them. It even broke my heart hearing Jillian say it was the first time we talked. I'm like, oh my God, Jillian, I feel so bad. I want to cry. But I'm proud of all the work that we have done together. And I am proud, even whether we agreed or disagree on certain things, I really, truly believe that everybody is here for kids, 100%. We have difference of opinions of what we think kids need or what, and all of that. But at the end of the day, you all really care, and you give a ton of your time to children. So I thank you for supporting me and encouraging me. I'm never going to apologize for being a big mouth and stating what I believe. I think that's why I was hired 7 years ago. I think that was needed. It's funny, I was just talking that I got called the healer. I was the healer. I never knew that I was hired because I was a healer. But it has been an amazing career, 33-year career. And proud to say in only 3 districts, North Haven, Middletown, and ending as a Panther. And that was what I was in high school. I was a Panther. So, and I'm leaving as a Panther. I just can't thank you all enough for everything that you do for kids and everything that you've done for me and for your support and for trusting me with your greatest gifts, which are your personal children and the children of Cromwell. So good luck. You picked a great superintendent. He seems wonderful. I'm excited to get to know him a little bit over the next couple of weeks. And obviously, I am available for questions all the time. I just want to see this district continue to grow and move in the right direction and do everything you possibly can do to place kids first. So thank you to all of you. And I probably won't miss the board meetings, but I probably will watch them sometimes just so I could yell at you through the TV or the computer. No, you can't do that.
We're all going to turn our phones to silent.
I'm like, you can't do it. No, it's only because I care. But thank you very much for this wonderful 7-year opportunity of a lifetime. And it will be in my heart forever. So thank you very much. Well, Matt, I don't know. How about night? Because I can't fall asleep. I'll take the midnight shift. have feelings.
Okay,
But
I'm
thank
gonna
you
save
all.
you from that.
Like,
All right.
so call me in the morning. I'll be getting ready.
All right. Well, we look forward to continuing to celebrate all of your contributions and your gifts that you've shared with us, and are incredibly grateful. I know we all talked last night, so I'm not gonna go through that again, but we'll do that tomorrow. And we're just so appreciative for everything that you've done for us and for our community, and you will be incredibly missed. And I'm going to ask you one more time. You sure you don't? Well, I already signed a contract, so now we're done. I tried, though, at least 50 times.
6 months, if he needs help, I'm available.
Okay. Mr. Butwell, do you want to talk to us about our budget update? And Mr. Butwell, is this your last budget update with us? I think it's his last budget update. He said maybe, so that gives us some
As
hope.
far as I know, it's my last one, but it's only June 2nd, so.
We would love to have you back. So
I do not have much to report since I was only up here 2 weeks ago, other than to say, we're still looking good. I did make the changes on the projection document regarding the transfers that we made last time, so you can see those changes have been added. We're still actively working on closing out our purchase orders and trying to wrap up and unencumber money so we can get to the bottom line as accurately as possible. But in general, as you can see, we look good, and not much more to add since I was here last time.
anybody have any questions for Mr. Butwell based on what was presented? Thank you, Mr. Butwell.
Thank you.
I know. Mr. Butwell, we wish you the best in your retirement, and are so grateful you stepped up into this role to finish out your career with us. And we will miss you very much. We'll take that. We'll take that. That's better than saying you won't miss us at all. So we'll take. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything you've done for us, and for all that you've taught us, and for the professionalism you've brought to this budget process. So thank you. ESS update. So, Ms. O'Leary, I'm going to let you do the introductions. And welcome.
I wrote down their titles so I don't mess up. But before I start, I want to say that I'm so proud of ESS and thankful for the partnership that we have. So thank you for being here, and for Mike for traveling. He might run out before the presentation's over so he can make his ferry.
Like the last ferry.
But so we have Joanne Malinka, and she's the regional vice president. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. I'm going to butcher your last name. Erin Chanel. I said it right. And she's the regional clinical director, and Mike Roseman, the director of district partnership. And we have a brief presentation about some of the progress that we've made and some potential opportunities.
Thank you. So I'm Erin Chanel. I'm the regional clinical director. So I'm going to go over quickly the ESS updates. You've probably seen me before, but if you haven't, I'm the regional clinical program director, and I oversee both the high school and the middle school. I do the clinical supervision and all the programmatic details. So for the first slide, we're just going to talk about the major points that we're going to go over in the summary that I will cover. That's going to be the next slide. Oh, right here. Thank you. Okay. So the clinical service delivery, so we're going to go over how many service totals have been delivered, number of hours. We're going to talk about academics, the improvement of the students' academics. We're going to divide that into what we consider an intervention portion of the students versus prevention, and we'll discuss for each target area what that looks like. For the academics specifically, for students that were struggling, they actually had 100% of those students that were considered struggling to have either improved or maintained their GPA, and 62% of students that were at average academics were maintaining and improving. The student attendance will be similar, where we had 82% of students that were considered chronically absent have improved or maintained their attendance. And for student clinical outcomes, we had 157 clinical assessments completed. So that'll be outside of the specific service hours. That's going to be just assessments that are done with our students. Family engagement. So a huge part of our programming is our family engagement. We do family sessions, we do parent support groups, We do a lot of work with the family. We, can do in-home sessions as needed. We do a ton of work with our families, which tends to be outside of what the school staff can do. So we'll go over a breakdown of just the specific family engagement because it was so high. We'll also even have a little bit of blurbs. There was only 7 people that responded to our parent survey, but we're going to provide some of those numbers and 2 quotes that were given. And just overall, briefly, we'll talk about ODP. We're not going to talk about ODP, but we just have had several students that we agree that have been at risk, and we are preventing them from going out of district. So the first slide is going to go over those total service hours. So we've had a whole 4,215 total. Now that went from the first day of school till May 21st. And the total number of hours that we would have collected were 1,650 and 0.6. So that's broken down by collateral contacts. Can be any contacts that our clinicians have made with outside providers, teachers, anyone and anything that is pertaining to any sort of case management for our student. We break down the individual clinical sessions by whether or not they were 26 minutes or higher versus 25 minutes or lower. Sometimes some of our students are limited due to classes and different things like that, or if they're in crisis, they may need other sessions that look slightly differently. Family sessions were 291. Kind of see the entire breakdown group. And I know that we've gone through a few of these, but if you have any questions about the breakdowns of the services, you can just let me know. So going to the next slide, we have the impact on the grades. So like we said, we're going to divide the intervention versus the prevention. So here on the intervention side, that you can see that 100% of the students are considered to be improving or maintaining their GPA. So those students were lower performing students. They had less than a 2.0. And on the prevention side, that would have been students that had a GPA that was higher than 2.0. So we have 62% of students there improving or maintaining their GPA. And it'll give you the sample size now that it's over the course of the entire district and through both schools. On the attendance side, we do look at the impact for intervention versus prevention. On the intervention side, this would be any of the students that are struggling in that academic domain for attendance. And these would be students that are considered chronically absent. And we've had 82% of those students improving or maintaining their attendance. And on the prevention side, we have 67% of those students improving or maintaining their attendance. And they would be considered to be fairly consistent with attendance, but still are showing an improvement. Last educational update would be on disciplines. So when we consider a student on the intervention side, this would be a student that has high discipline, log entries, multiple numbers. We've had 94% of the students that were considered to be on that side were improving or maintaining their disciplines, while 78% of our average students are still improving and maintaining. I did break down those clinical progress measures. So these are the clinical assessments that our clinicians are doing. These are additional. So we can look at the PHQ-9, which is a patient health questionnaire. So that just specifically looks at and targets depression symptoms, for example. So we're constantly clinically monitoring our students and making sure that their symptoms are decreasing or we're stabilizing or maintaining. So there's GAD-7, which is like, for example, that is the Generalized Anxiety Disorder Scale. So brief clinical assessments, Columbia Suicide Scale is if a student, identifies a risk like they're suicidal, we would screen for that as well. And the last slide related to specific numbers would be our family engagement pipeline. So this is kind of the numbers that I was talking about related to the family engagement. So we've had 560 family collateral contact attempts, 316 successful family collateral contacts. Sometimes we are contacting families, or we are supposed to have a session or a phone call check-in every week, and maybe the families don't pick up. we are still attempting and we're still making so you'll see that there'll be more of those more of the attempts versus the successes, but our clinicians are constantly making that contact with the families, rescheduling, and making sure that they are getting the full model. And then 292 total family therapy sessions. So of that survey that I was responding to, so we do have a parent survey that goes out. We actually had 7 parents respond, which is actually pretty high. And 100% of them said that they were satisfied or very satisfied with ESS. And 100% also said that they're satisfied or very satisfied with their child's clinician. Both of their quotes, as you can see here, are in fact about the rapport with the clinician. So you can take a moment to look at that at another time. In the next slide, I am going to pass it off to Mike Roseman just to talk about the potential upcoming opportunities.
Thanks, Erin, and thank you, everyone. So we're really excited because in partnership with the state of Connecticut, we received a grant to expand services for Cromwell and to provide additional support for the district. It will be at no cost to the district, and we are working closely with the administration to kind of identify the expanded scope of service. And so we are actively thinking about doing the startup service so that we can ensure that this support can start for the 26-27 school year. Thank you.
Thank you for the data. I'm gonna, please don't leave. Can you explain this last slide a little bit more, because I want to understand what does the expansion look like? How is it funded? For how long? And what action do we need to take in order to move forward? So could somebody help?
Do this. It's up to you.
So I know we're still in the works with kind of the, oh, I'm sorry, with the specifics of where we will put these clinicians, but we've worked with ESS to discuss the funding that will possibly support 2 extra clinicians for the next 2 years, and we're looking at supporting in our elementary levels. But there's still more, I think, work to be done, correct? Yeah. If you want to speak to that.
Can you just tell us what was passed at the legislative level to support the initiative?
It was a grant specifically, it was a legislative grant that was provided for Effective School Solutions from, I think it's DHS, to provide additional services to identified districts, which Cromwell was one of those.
Thank you. So, Ms. Zillier, you're going to come back to us with more information once that's clear okay, that would be really helpful. Thank you for the fantastic data.
Joanne, too, probably could help with explaining, because it started when we had this much tiny little bit of information that this was going to come to head, right? Back in October.
Yeah.
And so it started in legislation and in conversations with Senator Lesser.
Yep.
And it is my understanding that in the legislation, I mean, I know, not my understanding, I know that ESS was named as the money will be funneled to ESS, and then those of us that participate are going to receive grant money so that we can continue broadening our program.
Yeah, so you'll receive the services.
Right.
So this has been an ever-evolving project of ours.
Yeah.
We've been working with our lobbyists and Senator Lesser and the Department of DPH DSS, I'm sorry, for the entire year. And it's been kind of up and down, and a lot of, different details and different steps and a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back. But we're finally at a point where we have brought this to, I don't want to put percentages on there, but we just need like one more signature, and we are able to make this happen. So in terms of Cromwell, the way that it will be impacted here is we will be able to provide for 2 years 2 clinicians, so we call them 2 cohorts, and we've been talking with the administration all year about kind of, where are the needs? Where are you seeing the need? Where can we help? Where can we do some of these things here, like the
3 interventions. And that's still kind of up in the air. We really lean more towards the districts to let us know where the need is.
So
you know,
looking at the data today, because it changes, and obviously the new superintendent would have to work with
Yep.
Sari and the team to make the final decision on where those clinicians need to go. If I was to make a decision today, right now, if we get one clinician, it would be going to ECS without a doubt. And if we get 2 clinicians, we have to look deeply at how we are servicing children at WIS and ECS, because we may want, there's 2 different models that we were thinking of. You have 2 people supporting a school that could really need it, that could really use it right now because of the age of the students. Would we have both clinicians be at ECS, or would we want one person to be at WIS? If we're looking at the needs of the students today, right now, right this second, my recommendation would be 2 at ECS and let's hold off on WIS, but that could change tomorrow. So we have to really be careful on how you all have to be very careful. It's hard to not say we on the decision when we make this decision, and we have to wait and see our student rosters and who's coming to us from throughout the summer and the needs of our students. So thank you for explaining, and if you have any questions for them or for myself
Okay.
or Sari.
I think Mrs. Russ has a question, and then I'll open up to anybody else that has questions.
So when we first started this process, was it 4 or 5 years ago? We started at the high school. That's
Yeah.
where you mainly focused of ESS services. And when you expanded to middle school, we expanded ourselves into the middle school. When did you start to expand into elementary level, and how many years have you been doing it?
I don't know exactly how many. I mean, we primarily serve high schools and middle schools, but we are in elementary. I can get you the exact numbers, how many we are in Connecticut. But we have every year grown there's a lot of need in elementary schools, first of all. So I oversee New England, from New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island. It's all over the place. The kids are becoming just more behavioral, and there's a lot of interventions and different type of skill sets that are needed to kind of address that. So of course, as the needs arise, we pivot too, and we adapt. So we have done a lot of also consulting and hired consultants that do just elementary, early childhood, and also the behavioral aspects of the programming, because a lot of younger children are obviously externalizers. So we have grown in that area too. And now, again, I can get you the exact numbers, but we're in several elementary schools.
For how long you've been doing it, and if you can share with us just general statistics of the effectiveness of when you've moved into, because we had all of that information when we first looked at ESS for the high school, and we had some of it when we looked at it for the middle school, but I feel like we're being pulled more and more out of the process, and I'd like to understand how effective it's been for you guys at the elementary level. And I'm glad to hear that you've hired people that work specifically with elementary level, and how long you've been doing it. So
Yeah, and I can jump in. So I used to head district partnerships across the country, and I had 3 meetings today, and not in the state, in Rhode Island. Literally all 3 meetings were about elementary. So I've been here 7.5 years. We have had elementary programs the entire time, but the concentration has increased the past few years, and most of the meetings are focused on elementary because it's a lot about prevention. And then also on an outplacement side, we've also seen a surge across the country in earlier outplacement of students. So I think that's what's also driving things as well. But we can get you the data on effectiveness.
I did have this conversation, really deep dive about the reality of and they have been honest with when you couldn't. You could not provide services to our elementary students because this isn't anything new, that we are struggling with supporting our students and meeting them where they're at. And so I asked a lot of questions about what have you done to make sure that you can provide the services, and they've hired clinicians and people that are more skilled with the elementary level. So that was pretty much our whole discussion at our last meeting. So I'm excited to see the data as well, but I think I would be remiss to say that you probably don't have all that much because you're just starting. But whatever you have to share with us, it would be really helpful. And we look forward to working with you, and you already know. It's only the best clinicians or no more ESS. You guys already know that. I don't have to tell you that. It's not going to change when I leave either.
So I'm just realizing that we have a few new board members who probably do not understand what ESS. So Mrs. O'Leary, can you just explain what ESS is, how the clinicians work in consultation with our staff, what level the clinicians are in terms of their credentials, and really what that looks like? Because I think we started diving right into data and much more high level, and some of us know it, but I don't think it's, I want to make sure that everybody understands what we're talking about.
So ESS is Effective School Solutions, and we originally contracted with them, and I'm so grateful, like I had stated before. We had started out at the high school level with 2 clinicians, and it's a clinical wraparound service, I would call it, and they're clinical social workers, but you call them LMFTs.
We have 2 LMFTs, so licensed marriage and family therapists, and then we have 1 licensed.
We can't hear you if you don't talk right into the microphone, and it's recorded, so.
That's okay, yeah. We have 2 LMFTs, so licensed marriage and family therapists, and then we have 1 licensed clinical social worker. So they are all from clinical backgrounds, so we hire a variety of clinicians. That's currently what we have on staff. But say, for example, if we had an LPC who's also a clinical, like a licensed professional counselor, we could still hire them on. They are still licensed to practice within the same scope and field. But that's currently what we have on staff here in Cromwell.
Okay, so when you say wraparound, I work in this
I'll
world, so
explain.
I
Of
understand what
course,
you're talking about, but I don't think it's fair to assume everybody does.
Yeah, so I just want to kind of backtrack a little. Each social worker, or LMFT, has 10 students, right? So at the high school when we started, we had we could hold about 20 students in the program. And there are tier 3 most impacted students with mental health needs that could be, I would say, on the verge, as you mentioned, ODP, outplacement. Wraparound services, when I say that, I mean they are available after school hours. They're available in the morning. They can go to the homes more readily than our staff can to help students that may be exhibiting some school anxiety, to go to the homes and help them get to school, meeting with families after hours, 5 o'clock. Yep, go ahead. I'll have you chime in.
I was going to say, and also kind of like when we looked at the slide where it showed all of our services, they're providing those group in the beginning. Yeah, next one down. So we're providing all of those different types of services, right? So we're doing groups, we're doing individual sessions, we're doing crisis. So if we need to do a crisis screener, like a Columbia screener, we're doing all of those screenings. So we're doing a multitude of clinical services per each student.
And another service that they provide to us is family parenting sessions. They'll have family nights after hours, meet here at the high school, provide dinner, refreshments, and they have training for families that may, need that for their children who are in need. So, again, we've been very pleased with our clinicians, and we've worked really closely and hard to make these programs grow. And they're pretty strong right now, I would say, at the high school and the middle school. And we're really happy with the support that ESS is providing us.
So they work in collaboration with our staff. They're working side by side. We talk about, and you heard ECS staff speak about, you can have 5 students with such great needs that you could have 5 people working with one each individual student. This allows our students who need tier 2 mental health supports to be serviced by our clinicians that are in our schools already. And the students who need tier 3 supports are supported by ESS clinicians. But that doesn't mean they don't intertwine. There is some, obviously, because we need to be able to support our kids all the time. To me, the wraparound piece is huge, and the fact that we have to just face it. When kids have a negative experience in school from when they're little, and I say negative because of behavioral things, and I always say it comes from somewhere. Kids don't want to misbehave. It happens. Families sometimes lose trust in schools, and we need people to help us rebuild that trust. But then they also are happy because they're working with people that they feel comfortable having conversations with, that they wouldn't necessarily want us to know about their life, because we're part of the community. So it is a wonderful service. We have been lucky. I really truly hope that this grows, and I hope that you can truly give us so much support at ECS where we need it desperately. And so I'm looking forward to it. I would say this is something that you truly never want to cut, as long as you keep giving Cromwell the best clinicians.
I love that.
Anybody have any questions? Donna?
I'm new to this, so, am I on? Yep. I'm new to this, so I'm trying to absorb it all in this short period of time. And I was also curious, what was the complexion of the clinicians? And I think that you have just cleared that up for me. I didn't quite catch, you have each social worker has 10 students, but then you call that person an LP.
We were just referring to their clinical licensure.
And what was
So two of them are marriage and family therapists, and then
Marriage-
we have a clinical social worker. So
Okay.
you can have multiple different clinical backgrounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there, I mean, these are people who are not teachers, they're not psychologists, but they have, so how is it that they achieve their certification? Is it a 4-year degree? Is it?
It's a master's.
It's a master's,
Mhm.
okay. The other question I had, and
I want to add, it
Yeah.
is a master's, and then it's for a clinical degree. After that, it's you have to be fully licensed. So it's like 100 hours of one-on-one clinical supervision, and then I think it's 300 hours in the milieu, and then you have to take a test through DPH and pass it, and then you get the little blue license. So it's very
rigorous.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our clinicians, we call them clinicians, therapists, they have also do private practice, on the side. So it's fully clinical, fully immersed. Yeah.
So what would be the difference between your clinician or therapist and, let's say, a BCBA?
I think different approach, different discipline. BCBA is more about changing behavior. Our therapists, which also change behaviors, but through a different lens, I think. We focus a lot on strength-based, on trauma-attuned approaches, multi-systemic, family work, everything. So I guess it's less, we still have data, but it's more processes rather than modification. The modification naturally happens as a result of the relationship, of the therapeutic, the treatment plans, everything that we're doing, but it's less of the tracking and modifying.
The way the BCBA
Yeah,
would do.
exactly.
Okay. And I don't know if this is a question I could ask you, but you did talk about attendance, right? And I take notes when when I read all these references, and this is a reference for G, H, I, and J, and it was all the different attendance at the attendance data at the different schools. And as I was looking through that, I added them up, and I noticed that there are 54 truant students. So when you look at attendance, are you looking at that truancy? I don't know if that's.
I'm sorry, it's only if it's tier 3, they would hit their radar, but the other students with the attendance issues, maybe Mrs. O'Leary can explain how we address
And
that.
it's very important to know that the definition that the state puts on truancy, you could be absent, your kid could have the flu, and you're absent. There's a formula, and I don't know it exactly off the top of my head. Dr. McLean, do you know the formula off the top of your head for truancy? It's ridiculous. The form.
So it depends on where you are in the year.
Right. Get on your mic, Kara.
That's all right, Carrie.
It's yeah.
It could be spreading from me.
We want kids here every day, but the truancy
It's
law
the
is
simple answer
insane.
is that it's 10% of the school year. I think that's the simplest way, but it does get to be like 4 absences in 1 month, right? Yeah, 4 unexcused
Yeah,
in a
it's
month,
ridiculous.
and then,
So if a parent doesn't call in because they don't have time and the kid is homesick, we have to mark them unexcused, and then that goes, if we don't get a letter, that actually goes on our state report because we have to have that letter. So part of this is state.
Mrs. Russ wants to add to
Right,
this.
they're still considered
So they're still marked as truant, even if they have a doctor's note, even if.
truant
Wait a minute.
is different also than chronically absent. Truant has a couple more layers to it than chronic absenteeism.
Okay, I think we're going down a rabbit hole, and I don't want us to go down a rabbit hole on the truancy piece, but I want to make sure that you make your ferry. So if we have any other questions for the ESS team, Mrs. Lamb has a question.
Just very brief for future, since I am one of the new folks. Thank you for the background. I appreciate it. And thanks for all the work you're doing for our students. Going forward, so I don't yet have a sense of what good looks like. I think Catherine was asking for effectiveness of the program. So I'm sure you're showing us some of these measures because they have been, positive movement. But I'm curious, how does it compare to benchmarks? I don't know what the benchmarks are. We were talking about truants, attendance, different things. You don't need to answer that tonight. But I am curious about how do we understand the effectiveness of the program.
Yeah, I mean, is there pre and post data for implementation, and can we see that in a trend analysis so that we can truly understand? I think that's good for new board members, but I also think that would be interesting for us if we're going to be asked to consider expansion of the program. So yeah, I mean, I think that can be pulled together because you've presented to us in multiple years, but if you could put that together in some way so that we could see that trend over time, I think that would be really helpful to demonstrate effectiveness.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your
Thank you.
presentation and your support of our students and our
Thank you so
schools.
much.
Good luck making your ferry.
Congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
All right. I'm going to move us on to new business item B, which is the class of 26 post-graduation plans, which is in our packet. Some very impressive students going on to some really exciting post-grad plans. Wish them all the best. Next item is an action item, item C, which is the stipend approval. That's reference C in your packets. May I please have a motion? Motion, Mrs. Ross. Second, Mr. Zabrowski. All in favor? Anybody opposed or abstaining? Okay, so that passes. On to item D, approval of school lunch price increases. That's reference D. Mr. Butwell, do you just want to speak to this? And while you're going up to the mic, I forgot to share under correspondence that I got the cutest email from a student who was begging us to bring back more vegetables and salads. So that was the title of the email was, "Please give me more salad." And what?
No, it was more vegetables. And you want to know what the
was
funny
so
thing
cute.
is? They have Caesar salad. It's a Caesar salad. So we talked about offering Caesar on one day and other
Garden
options
salads on the
yeah.
other days.
Yes.
But kudos to this young student who is very
who went straight to the board chair.
who wants cucumbers and tomatoes and celery, and I love that. But Mr. Butwell, you want to talk to us about what the proposal is?
Sure. So Mrs. Shaw, our food and nutrition coordinator, and I have been speaking about lunch prices here in district. Mrs. Shaw provided me with a lot of information regarding sort of like average prices across the state, which was part of your packet, so you could see kind of where Cromwell falls in connection to average prices across the state. Currently, currently the elementary schools are at $3.10 for lunch. CMS is at $3.25 and CHS is at $3.30. We would like to increase those rates to be, as stated in your packet, $3.50 for ECS and Woodside, $3.75 for the middle school, and $3.80 for the high school. And that brings us more into range, the average state range, which is anticipated for next year. So just a slight increase to make sure that we're able to cover all the costs of our food program, which is, as you know, self-sufficient. So everything increases in price. the salaries of the people that do a great job in our kitchens, food prices, everything. So I think this is just reflective of that.
Thank you, Mr. Botwell. Is there a motion to approve the recommended increases? Thank you, Mr. Schuman, second by Mrs. Maddie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on our agenda, item E, approval of minutes and motions for our May 19th special meeting. That's reference E in your packet. Lisa, thank you always for the excellent job with the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes and the motions? Motion, Mrs. Cantwell, second by Mrs. Maddie. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstaining? Thank you. Next item is F, Human Resource and Personnel Activity. Reference F in your packet.
I just want to say one thing.
Yep.
I hope you all noticed that a lot of these people are students that came through Cromwell Public Schools. We are trying to build what we started of creating our own teachers and our own pipeline, and they're coming in and they're loving it, and so it's been great. It's great seeing them.
I'll just add to that. My daughter's one of them, and she absolutely loves working at Woodside. So thank you, and thank you to everybody for being so welcoming to our students that are coming back into the community. It does make me really happy to be able to see them and especially encourage them to be future teachers. So thank you for that. Mrs. Maddie.
I'm afraid to use my mic and take up extra time. Quick question, because you move so fast. I did have a question on something previous, and I just want to know, when I was looking at the stipends, what is a facilitator as opposed to a coach? So we have math facilitators, art facilitators. So
Dr. McLean can answer.
Okay.
So they're two entirely different positions.
Okay.
A facilitator is what some districts might call a department head.
Oh, okay.
A coach works directly with teachers to improve
that's all I needed
practice.
to know.
Yep.
Is that, so
Yep.
facilitator
We call
is
them
the department
facilitators.
chairman.
Some people call them department heads. Ours are not
Okay.
administrative,
That's
so
all
we
I
call them
needed to know.
facilitators.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move us on to principal's report, which is in your packets. So everybody should have that, informational only. On to board committee reports. The policy committee did not meet, so we have no update. Facilities and technology did not meet, so we have no update. Topics for future agendas and possible action. I'm moving fast on it because we have an executive session, so I'm trying to. That's why I'm rushing. Those are listed on the underneath that section of our agenda, so we have those for everybody to see. Unless there's any additions.
When do you guys want to hear from ESS again? So with everything that you just,
I think
would
it'd be
wait.
helpful for us to look at their data and then decide when we want to have them back. But before we move forward with anything related to our elementary school programs, I think we would want to either have them back or have a discussion.
Then you want to do that as soon as, before. It has to be July because they're going to, I'm not saying, I'm just going to say it. You may not want to have to when it's time to pay, but if it's 2 years of free services for students who need it right now, and we have ECS struggling, they're certified clinicians. We hold them accountable. The principals hold them accountable. To me, it would be crazy to not have them servicing kids who are struggling now, even if it's only for 2 years. I don't think you should make a decision based on data of whether, because they have some elementary schools and they can share that with you, but don't wait, because you have kids that need help now. And that's just my professional opinion, my last 2 cents. I would say if you want to have them bring that data to you, you have to have a July meeting, because you need to do this quickly. Don't give up free services just because you know.
No, I don't think any of us are suggesting we would
But you
give up
can't wait
free-
until August or September. That would be, they need to start sooner, getting the list and acclimated with the families and doing meetings with the families.
I
with
think the
sign-on.
request is just to provide us some information based on Catherine's questions, which are, what is your experience in an elementary school setting before we agree for them to move forward and go into the elementary school. So it's just it's an informational request. And if I don't know that we necessarily need to have them back because we've got Mrs.
Do you
O'Leary.
just want,
that
do
can
you
speak.
just want them to send information
Yeah,
to
we
you
asked them
through
to
an
provide
email?
data.
Okay. I'm like, don't wait and have another meeting, please.
We don't necessarily need them back, but I don't think they should be moving into the elementary school and adding services without us looking at that data and saying, yes, this makes sense. Because my worry is we start that for 2 years and then we have a huge expense that's going to balloon in 2 years that we need to continue. So we just want to make sure that we can
We
can afford to
respectfully,
sustain it.
Disagree. Because for 2 years, there's so many kids who need it, whether you can sustain it or not sustain it. The first 2 years are free.
Mrs. Cantwell.
I don't think we're debating on whether we should take free services. Like, if they're going to give us services for 2 years, I think from my understanding, we just want to look at the information that
what
you
I'm hearing is
requested.
you are debating.
No, we're just asking what their experience has been in elementary school. We don't necessarily, if they have very limited experience in elementary school, but they're very effective in the middle school, would that be an option for us to then say we'd rather have the additional support in the middle school and work on a different plan for the elementary school? I think that this was the first presentation that we've heard from them in the last year, and this was the first introduction to them potentially providing services to us at the elementary school level. So I don't think that getting answers to those questions is unreasonable.
But can I talk?
Yes, please.
If Sari is saying that's where the need is, because it's based on need, correct? So you're saying right now the need is in elementary schools because we have a good handle on. I feel weird talking like this.
You need supports in
We
elementary.
have a good handle right now. We already have support we need in
I don't
the middle
think
school and
I
the high
truly
school.
believe 100% that this is a decision for. You can see the data, but this is a decision that Sari's going to have to make with the new superintendent
Yeah.
because this is operational.
It is.
This is an operational situation. You can't turn away free services. They need to decide where it is. Right now, I said if I had to, we need to do something to help ECS. You all have heard it over and over again. And look at all of the information, but at the end of the day, the operational piece of where these people are going to go is up to the director of student services, and it's up to the superintendent of schools.
Mr. Zabrowski has a question, and I'll just add, I wasn't even clear that they absolutely have the resources to be able to provide because they said they're still working on signatures and details. So I think we just need a little bit more information to understand what potentially could be.
Can I, before Matt goes, just real quick?
No.
Yes, they didn't sign the last signature yet, but once they do, they will have the grant that goes directly to them so they can service us. But I don't think they were as clear as they should have been about in elementary schools. They are in elementary schools, so I do think it would be helpful that we do get that data, and I can follow up with them tomorrow to make sure they send it to us.
Thank you. I think that would be so helpful. Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. Mr. Zabrowski.
I was just going to say, I think from the board's point of view, the way I'm viewing it is it's all we did was request information from them. I don't think anyone here is proposing that we turn down services that are covered by a grant.
That's what I thought I was hearing, so I got a little nervous
even if it's short
about
term.
that.
But my other thing is, all of us have seen how some of these grants operate, and you get a 2-year grant, and you collect data during those 2 years while you're operating under the grant, and you're able to then go back to the legislature and say,
Exactly.
hey, these services are working. Maybe you should consider continuing this grant. So, I don't think anyone here is saying let's not do this. I think it's more of we want to know more about how it works. We got a really good overview of the services that they're currently providing, but the whole elementary side was a little bit thin on information, and I think all we did was say we'd like some more information. So when we're going to consider doing this, we have a full picture. Because I did not walk away from there with a clear picture at all. All I knew was
They
yes,
did
we
not.
do some elementary
They did not do
services.
a good job. They did a much better job with Sari.
So I
and
think
myself.
if they can just forward us some data that we can review, I don't think that they need to come back here and do another presentation on it. I think and I don't want to speak for everyone here, but from my point of view, I would just like to see some hard data and some numbers because they do a good job of presenting that, and even in paper. So just to give us a clearer view of where they've seen success within their own programming and how they could port that into ours. Yeah. Okay.
I'll make sure we get that. I'll follow back up with them tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. Okay. I'm going to move us on from topics for future agendas to comments, updates, and announcements from board members. Mr. Heisman. Yes, we just did. That's where Dr. Macri said she'd like to, the
Yeah,
ESS.
when-
Do you have an additional topic, Mrs. Maddie? You have to use your microphone though, or no one can hear you.
If we're going to discuss adding honors classes at CHS, there are a lot of things about what's going on there and what the curriculum is before I think we should even be discussing something like that, because I do not say this in any kind of demeaning way, but I was not impressed by where students are going, and I know college is expensive these days. I also know that top students are going to get merit money and so forth. I'd like to see, and I see all the kids who are on the honor roll, and I question, out of X number of people, how can there be that many? Especially when I hear from a lot of students, well, not a lot, I'm not going to do that, which is what a lot of people do. I've heard from some students, from friends of mine, that, they don't have a lot of homework, they don't consider it particularly challenging, and that's what I'd like to see. So I just want to say that if we're going to discuss adding honor classes at the high school, I'd like to see us also discuss just what the expectations and the rigor is at the high school right now for, I don't even know how they have this divided. I mean, I thought there were AP classes. When my kids went here, there were honor classes. I don't know what there are. I mean, is it just, AP classes and then what? Everyone gets thrown in a heterogeneous mix? Is that the way it works?
Okay, so I don't want to have the discussion
I don't
now,
wanna have
but
it now,
I just want
but
to know what kind of information you would like to
So
be
I would
prepared.
sort of like to be, I'd like to know, and I'm new to this, I'd like to know just how the grading system works between AP classes and all the rest of the classes. And I'd like to know a little bit about what are requirements in the different history, English, what the requirements are for graduation.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Dr. McLean. We can provide that if that's
Yeah.
helpful before we have the discussion to
And-
provide that
and-
in advance.
And there's
We
got to
could
be
provide it
one
at the same
person who's
time.
got that darn high school.
If not everyone is, Donna can always meet with Carrie, and
Okay.
because that's happened so often.
Okay.
We can go through the handbook.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you, Dr. McLean. And if anybody else wants to have the conversation prior to our meeting, you're welcome to as well. So we could, if anybody else is interested, we'll just make sure that they can go through the handbook and be well versed before we have that conversation. Okay, anybody else? Topics for future agendas? Okay. Comments, updates, and announcements from board members. Mr. Heisman? Nothing. Mrs. Lamb? Nothing. Mr. Zabrowski? Always. Don't disappoint.
It's not always.
You
now. I've
cannot
been
let me
better.
down.
We've rightfully so spent a lot of time celebrating Dr. Macri and your upcoming retirement. I just wanted to congratulate and thank Anne and Chris. You've done some exceptional work over the years. I'm really proud to have had this partnership with both of you, and I've heard a lot of great things from a lot of people. I'm really, really proud that you have been our middle school principal for a long time. As a middle school teacher, I know middle school is its own animal. It's a very unique environment, and the fact that you've been able to provide such solid leadership for so long, we appreciate it. That's okay. She can watch the video.
That was very sweet. Thank you. Mrs. Russ. All right. I have one, which is an offer to all of my colleagues to join me. So one of my favorite things we do in Cromwell is the graduation walk, where the students go from school to school to school. And I happen to live along the route that they travel. So for years, I've gone down to the end of my street and gotten to congratulate and shake hands and high five some of our graduates as they walk in their full cap and gowns, right, down the street, which is just such an awesome experience. So if anybody would like to join me on Friday morning, Mr. Butwell is going to give me an ETA on when they might be walking by, or walking, I'm sorry, sorry, we were just talking about Mr. Butwell. It's been a long few nights. Mr. Kuckle is going to give us an ETA on when they might be walking down Woodside, and if anybody wants to park at my house and join me at the end of the street and just congratulate all of our graduates. It's a really fun thing that we do, and I know the students love it. And I think it'd be nice if they got to see the Board of Ed members cheering them on as they move on to their next adventure. No, the date is the 5th. It's this Friday in the morning, sometime between 9 and 10. I would anticipate that they'd be walking down Woodside. 9:30 to 9. Oh, that's even more specific. If it rains, it's a different story because they take a bus, and I have chased the bus around town and missed it. So we don't want that to happen, but it doesn't look bad.
No, it looks good.
So I will send out my address. I won't say it for the rest of the world to come park at my house, but I will send out my address, and anybody that wants to come can come at my house, park at my house, and we'll walk down and celebrate. All right, fine. Or you could park at Mrs. Franklin's house, but she doesn't know that we're offering that. So in any case, that's all I had for an update. Mrs. Cantwell. Mr. Schumann.
Congratulations on the state championship in track. That's time to buy another banner.
I know.
Mrs. Maddie.
I'm not going to pass this up. Archaeologists were excavating, this won't take but a second, in the ancient Egyptian city of El Bahasna. And what they found is that in one of the Egyptian burials, there was a copy of the Iliad on papyrus, which I guess was quite common. So the question is, why would a Romano-Egyptian want to take Homer with them into the afterlife? I think it's a great question, but I think it's a question that says, are we teaching, and I don't mean solely Western culture, because certainly that would not be what I would say, but are we teaching the Iliad and the Odyssey for these kids to understand that this is a work that talks about religion, sex, the gods, conflict, violence? I hope we are, because the ancient Egyptians were so concerned that they took it with them to the underworld, to the afterlife. I wouldn't be taking that, but I might take Tessa the D'Urbervilles.
I'm going to leave that for you to ask Dr. McLean when you talk about curriculum. She can tell you about all the great ancient works that we study in our schools.
Remember, Donna, Carrie was an English teacher too. You met your match. I want to be there at that meeting. I can't wait.
Okay. I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn, and then we're going to enter into executive session. Thanks, Mr.